Hello. Today we're going to talk about the MIDI. It is a musical instrument digital interface, and don't remember about it. It's just a language which the musical devices communicate each other, although it is made from another companies. So if we use this MIDI function, not just the audio function, we can enable some kind of crazy stuff happening. So I'll show you the example right away. We have the general filter here and the lo-fi here. Yeah, kind of just very simple deep bass line. But if I turn on the metronome, and you will see what happens when I'm using the MIDI. And yeah, this is kind of very crazy, only using the filter and lo-fi from the RC505, and it sounds like crazy and very unexpected. And this is the MIDI. Generally, we use the MIDI cables, as you can see, to transmit the MIDI message. The MIDI out means that we can send the MIDI signals from RC505 to other extra devices, and the MIDI in is the vice versa. You can just receive the MIDI signals from other extra devices to the RC505. And when you go to the memory page here, you can assign the parameter like this. I use the source from the MIDI control change, and the target is input fax B. And in this case, I use the launchpad. So the first of all, the RC505 can receive the program change, MIDI clock message, and the MIDI control change. So the program change means that like switching the preset. So if I enabling the program change message from other extra devices, I can change the preset of the RC505, just the buttons or fader from the other extra devices. Like don't have to rotating the knob like this. The MIDI clock message is very simple. It is sending the tempo message of the source. So in this case, it is 131.5. Press this metronome or play this track, then the RC505 send the MIDI clock message through the MIDI out cable. And the MIDI control change is very, very unique. And MIDI control change has a value. The value is from 0 to the 127. It is changing the parameter, like feeling like rotating the knobs. The detail parameter, like for example, the filter have the cutoff from 0 to 100. If I assign the MIDI CC1 to control the filter, then I can change the parameter through the MIDI CC message. For example, when I set the MIDI CC value 0, then the cutoff will become to 0. And if the MIDI CC value 127, and the cutoff will be go to the maximum, the 100. This three method is usually worked on almost every devices. In this case, the Line 6 Helix also worked same as the RC505, and some devices can receive the other extra MIDI message, like the TC Helicon and the other instrumental devices can receive the MIDI note message. So what is the MIDI note message? The note message is used for sending the note signals to like playing like a keyboard. So we know that like if you press the key, the sounds generated, and if it release, then the sound stops. So this kind of action can be sorted as a MIDI message. So if we press, it is a note on message, and if we release, it is a MIDI off note off message. So although every devices use the same MIDI message, there are some kind of limitation. For example, if you go to the RC505, from MIDI CC32 to 63 is not usable on the both RC505. So you have to check it. And also it works differently on the Line 6 Helix. For example, Line 6 Helix use the snapshot function and the pedals, and those are also worked as a MIDI CC message. So they prevent us from assign those parameters to control different settings. And also there is a big like a channels here. This meaning that I receive the channel 4 MIDI message. If I send the MIDI channel from different channel like 1 or 2 or 3, it didn't receive the message. So why this channel exists? Because if I want to just control the RC555 only and the license only, then I can make the channel differently. If I set the launchpad to control those parameters separately, then we don't have to worry about those RC5 and license work at the same time.